Hey everyone, your friendly neighborhood Pants is back with another video. Today we're looking at Cichlid, the Wind Mermaid. Cichlid was recently nerfed and we have made her skill 3 a little less OP. Really not a little less, a lot less OP. That said, it's still a good skill. If you think about it, there's not a lot of monsters that can do all of the things that she does on her skill 3. A defense break, a cool time up, remove beneficial effects. There's a handful of fire and wind monsters that do it. I don't know what the Wind Samurai does, to be honest, but I think this is the only one that does it all in one skill with attribute advantage on a freaking 110 base speed. She's kind of nutty. My concern with this balance patch as far as her nerf goes is they didn't really buff anyone to replace her. You know, she shines in siege defenses, and siege defenses, they need all the help they can get, which probably triggered some people, but in Siege you can have very high win rates. Defenses only win by just huge rune quality margins, you know, if you're just outclassing runes, or they win by RNG, or they win by the person bringing in a bad offense. That's like the only three ways Siege defenses win, but now her strip is going to be significantly less effective. So I guess the question is she still a good siege defense monster? To which the answer is yeah, because again, they didn't really in the patch make anything to replace her. They did release the new Witcher monsters, of course, so maybe we'll see some of them in high level tournament play. I think like the Dark Siri, for example, actually does some pretty decent damage. Also has that 28% speed lead like Mihyang does. We'll probably see some of her or some of the other ones. We'll see. Cichlid, though, I think we'll probably see her in like low level tourney play, and certainly just in Siege in general. Like if you're hovering in G1 Siege, I see no reason why she's going to be going away. But high level tournament play, I'm kind of eager to see what people come up with to replace her, because again, the patch did not replace her. Mihyang is going to be our 4-star Siege queen, and Cichlid is going to be our jester. I don't know. Anyways, let's get into some of these counters. So the first two counters I'll show are traditional cleaves that are strictly rune checks. I used to be a bit of a cleave hater as far as Siege goes, but I've come to learn that it's probably the safest way to win, since it really does minimize RNG and makes the match more of a strict rune check. With Lucian cleaves, if you take turn 1 and have enough damage, then you win. Simple as that. With Chun-Li, you still have like the accuracy resistance check with Gemini as far as RNG goes, so you know that's just there to make sure you lose sometimes. But vast majority of the time with max accuracy on Gemini, you're gonna land at least 2 defense breaks, and that's usually all you need to get the win. From the defense's perspective, the only way to like avoid Lucian cleaves, for example, is by just trapping that, you know, with uber thick teams, putting on shield sets and energy and enhance and just as much HP as you can, and on your artifacts having very thick wind reduction. You know, if you can get violent runes with wind reduction, violent shield, violent enhance, violent energy, and just like make it as thick as possible. Another way would be like nemesis runes, you know, against Chun-Li. That can possibly work because like Velg will use his skill 3, and you know, if your Cichlid cuts in between and resets Chun-Li, there's a chance that you get the win in that way. But for the most part, cleaves are pretty hard to play against, and you can't ruin your defense to beat every offense. Offenses are always going to have the advantage. So here's the big problem with the fish nerf, right? Tractor Wind Lulu, the iconic offense that beats almost anything and can also beat this pretty comfortably. I'll have runes on the side of the screen for both my Tractor Windy Lulu and the the defense that I'm hitting, and you'll see that the defense isn't any slouch. Like, it's runed really well, but despite this, my Tractor Windy Lulu went 10-0 against it for me in testing. So this is a problem as far as Siege tournament goes. Like, everyone and their mother has just tons of Tractor Windy Lulus built. I've recently decided I'm just going to build some more Lulus, because why not? I have 6 currently. I use all 6 pretty much every single Siege, and lately I've been wanting more, so I'm currently working on building up 2 more. That would put me at 8. Anyways, I think still for most people this offense is solid. I just think tournament probably going to be seeing not so many Wind Mermaids. So I figured with the Gargoyle buff, it makes sense to showcase them a bit. I think this offense is a bit overkill, honestly. Like, Kunai he was already good, and the buff just made him that much better. So he's on my list to make more of at this point. He's nasty. This offense does take a while to get the win, but I think it's definitely going to be one of the safer offenses people can bring into this defense or similar defenses. Really, I think this offense is going to work into a lot of stuff. I think the general strategy as far as this defense goes is to try and kill the Mihyang first. I think any Lulu support with Bruisery damage doers, the goal should be to try and kill Mihyang first. It's a bit difficult with the threat state on the Dark Ashura, but she's the main healer and has the attack bar buff and stuff. So if you can make it happen, I think you should. I think with this offense, it's a little more easy because you have the reflect from Malite and the AoE damage on a skill 2. So if you can sneak in some skill 2s with Kunai, you can generally kill Mihyang first. But yeah, it's very safe. Very, very safe, it seems. Moving on, I'm playing with some Shield Will teams. Gonna show you some actual losses this time. I've heard people say with the nerf that, just bring in Shield Will and it'll be easy dub, but I'll show you why that's not the case. Like, it's really not that hard if you think about it. Her skill 3 pretty much does the exact same thing as before, just with a much smaller chance. But, it can happen. So, for example, I have this Skogul Tracer Akaris team, which I thought was just going to have a field day with it. Like, I was kind of excited to see the Tracer buff, and so I had this team unruined for a while, but decided to re-rune it. All on double will shields, 239 speed breakpoint, and it does do well when she doesn't land the strip, but when the strip lands and, I get defense broken, sometimes that was a dead Skogul turn 1 or a dead Akaris turn 1, or I just get reset, so I'm left with only 1 rock, and that's not enough damage, and I just get stunned, and that's the other thing is the stun. Like, even if she only strips and does nothing else, the Dark Ashura can stun and just like keep you stunned. So I did not have success with this offense, which is kind of a bummer because I moved all the runes to make it happen. But anyways, I also in a similar token tried to play with this Shield Will Sleep team, which I think is a fun offense. It's kind of cool playing with the sleeps. That Bombay was a Hall of Heroes monster not too long ago, and it probably is a good offense into other defenses, but here it same thing. It was just not good. I had dead Bombays turn 1, just all kinds of different things happened to cause me to lose. But again, if the Windfish didn't do anything turn 1, then it was actually a pretty comfortable win from there. So here are a couple more pseudo cleaves that I had a lot of success with. There's a Copper Snipe team where you want to kill the mermaid first, which wasn't intuitive to me when I first started trying to test it. I was killing the Dark Ashura first, and I still won that way, but it was more risky because like after I killed him, then the Windfish would target my leader skill, so Orochi in this case, and suddenly I can't use his skill 2 and 3, which those are both great skills, and killing her first would let me just like use those to smack down the Dark Ashura real quick, and then I got the win more comfortably, I felt. Meanwhile, the Cocky Cleave is kind of a hybrid Shield Will and Swift. You want Swift Robo to move first to either use his skill 2 for strip and attack bar messing up and all that, or if they aren't on Will, then hooray, you can use a skill 3, get some stuns to disrupt them. But I made sure to test the Cocky Cleave against both a defense with Will runes and without. And as far as my win rate goes, I didn't see much of a difference. It performed well either way. It just changed which skill I used on the Robo. So I never lost with either of these offenses, but I do think they're less safe than Lucian, for example. The Copper team could lose if you get your lead killed early, like my Orochi died, because at that point, like my Copper is on very slow runes. It's just trying to maximize damage, so they can lap on top of Violent Proccing and kill Copper, kill Amnesty. My Amnesty is just on a fast Swift set, no particular great stats other than just trying to be fast for turn 1, Meanwhile, with the Cocky Cleave, you have the accuracy resistance check on both Galleon and the Wind Robo that could lead to some losses. So not as safe as Lucian. So here's 2 more Bruiser offenses for the road that I had some success with. Triana Rukuni Royd, courtesy of one of my guildies, and then Mihyang Shushu Suiki. And you may be wondering, like, why Shushu over Lulu? And the answer is no reason, absolutely no reason. Lulu would definitely be better. Highly recommend her over Shushu vast majority of the time. I just didn't want to keep using her for the sake of the video. If you watch the replays, you'll see that this offense is cutting it close pretty often, and it's because Shushu doesn't have the cleanse on skill 3 like Lulu does. So anyways, it still won. I went 7-0 in testing with it, and I think that's just because Suiki is insanely good, and just pair him with 2 supports, and that right there is a good offense into a lot of different defenses. He buffs himself. So in a similar vein, Royd also has a skill 1 defense break, so they both set themselves up. Difference with Royd is he's got the attack bar reduction and provoke, which are kind of like built-in violent procs to his kit, if you think about it. Instead of getting an additional turn, you're forcing them to go back to the beginning of their attack bar, or when they do take their turn, they're forced to use their skill 1. So in essence, they're skipping a turn. Not quite like taking an additional turn, but it's kind of close. Between the 2, I think the Royd team is a lot better, but I think the Suiki team would be much better with Lulu. So with Lulu, I think they're about even offenses. But anyways, here's just a handful of offenses that can take care of the Windfish pretty easily if you're still struggling with her post nerf. I'm again just eager to see what people come up with in the tournament. We are trying out some different defenses in RA as far as 4 stars go. I won't tell them yet, but I mean, if you match up with RA, you'll see what we're running. So that's all for this video, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace, y'all.